Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Dr. Seuss week. So I am wearing my favorite Dr. Seuss shirt, and I figured that since it's Dr. Seuss's birthday this week, I would have a whole Dr. Seuss series. So I'm pre-recording all of the Dr. Seuss books that I have from the library and that I have at home, and I am going to post one or sometimes two videos this week of a different Dr. Seuss book, so you can watch them at your leisure. The next story that I am going to read for our Dr. Seuss week is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old oncer still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in the lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mid-muffler woof. And one special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you can toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. Those are some weird things to pay with. I wonder what he does with those. Then he pulls up a pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grooveless glove. And then he grunts, I will call you by the whisper of my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slop! Down slops the wincler my phone to your ear, and the onceler whispers are not very clear. Since they have to come down through this nearly hose, he sounds as if he's had smallish beeps on the nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days where the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swans rang in space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And at first I saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts on the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown butt-loots frisking about their broad suits, and they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came a comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had a sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with a great skillful skill, with the great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. He looked, I saw something pop out of the stump. Of the tree that I chopped down was a sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees that have no tongues. I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. And he was very upset, and he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree and I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. The thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. And it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, or bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you're crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong. For that, just a minute, a chap came along, and he thought about the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone, and I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, there's a wonderful chance for the old Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road north niche, turn left at Weekman, sharp at South Snitch. And in no time at all, I built the factory I built. The whole Onceler family was working for tilt. We are knitting thneeds just as busy as bees to the sound of chopping of truffula trees. Oh no, they're chopping them all down. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he did not show up no more. But the next week he knocked at my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you've seen to be chopping as fast as you please. But I also in charge of the brown barbaloots who play in the shade in their barbala suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are getting the crummies because they have no gas, no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless the crummies in tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my rows, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads. The thneeds I shipped out was shipping forth from to south, to east, to west, to north. I went right on biggering, selling the thneeds. I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I'm the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed, and he sneezed and he snuffed, he snarled and he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a coughless croak, Onceler, you're making such smugglers smoke. My poor swams, well, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, he dander was up. Let me say a few words about this glumpity glup. Your machinery trugs on in the night without stop, making glumpity glup and sloppily slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty Onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off on to their future as jury. They're walking their fins, they're getting woofily weary, in search for some water that isn't too smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yappity yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I got my rights, sir. I'm telling you. I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack, and of an axe of a tree, and then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smothering stars. Now all that's left 'neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. He gave me a very sad backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the word unless. Whatever that means, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word that the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. So catch, called the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The end. I will see you all next time for our next Dr. Seuss book. Bye!